Bienvenidos! Welcome to another episode of Spain on a Fork. Today we are making what is considered to be one of the oldest and most historic rice dishes that hail from Spain. We are talking arroz campesino. This translates to a Spanish farmer's rice and it dates back all the way to the medieval times. And let me tell you, right now in modern Spain, this dish is popping up everywhere, from local tapas bars to high-end restaurants, because it's got so many great flavors, folks. This recipe is so easy to make at home and it comes together in a little over 30 minutes. Really quick before we begin, a shout out to one of my patrons, Mac Morford. Once again, Mac, thank you so much for being a patron of Spain on a Fork. You know how much I appreciate you. For the rest of you, if you're not with me on Patreon, consider becoming one. It helps with ingredients and equipment to continue making videos like this. You'll find my Patreon link in the description box below and iCard above. We're gonna begin by getting our ingredients ready. I'm gonna grab one small jar of cooked garbanzo beans. This is the same thing as the canned ones, adding them into a sieve and rinsing them under some cold running water. This jar equals 1 1/4 cups of cooked garbanzo beans, or 210 grams. For the next ingredient, I'm gonna grab 2 carrots. These have already been peeled, washed, and patted dry. Cut each one in half and into small pieces that are 1/4 inch thick, which is a little over 1/2 centimeter. And we'll do the exact same thing with 2 stalks of celery. Once again, these have already been washed and patted dry. We'll roughly dice 1/2 of an onion, and roughly chop 4 cloves of garlic. And for the final ingredient to prepare, I'm gonna measure out 1 cup of uncooked round rice. This equals 200 grams. Round rice is very similar to either medium grain rice or arborio rice. All right, let's start cooking our dish. I'm gonna add in 1 liter of vegetable broth into a saucepan. This equals a little over 4 1/4 cups. Now the broth I'm using is homemade. You'll find the recipe on how to make it in the iCard above. We'll pinch in 1/4 teaspoon of saffron threads, which equals 0.17 grams. And we'll heat it with a medium-high heat. You'll find a link to get the saffron threads I'm using from Golden Saffron in the description box below. This saffron is super high quality and it has an incredible flavor. For the next step, I'm gonna heat a large frying pan with a medium to medium-high heat and add in 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, which equals 60 milliliters. After heating the olive oil for 1 minute, I'm gonna add in the chopped up carrots, the chopped up celery, the roughly diced onion, and the roughly chopped garlic. And start mixing these vegetables around with that olive oil. I like to mix this continuously, that way none of the vegetables burn and they all evenly saute. After 5 to 6 minutes and all these vegetables are lightly sauteed and developing a light golden fried color, I'm gonna add in the 1 cup of uncooked ground rice. Once again, this is 200 grams. The drained garbanzo beans. And season everything with sea salt, freshly cracked black pepper, and 2 tablespoons of finely chopped parsley, which equals about 7.60 grams. And start gently mixing all this together until all the ingredients are evenly mixed. And once again, remember to be gentle here, otherwise you can easily break those garbanzo beans apart. Once everything's well mixed, I'm gonna grab our saffron infused broth that we have heating and slowly add it into the pan. And we'll also add in 1 sprig of fresh rosemary. And we'll get in there and give it a quick mix to make sure everything's evenly mixed together. Now let me tell you, this is not like a paella where you mix it one time and never mix it again, and it's definitely not like a risotto where you have to mix it continuously. You just get in there every 2 to 3 minutes and give it a quick mix. This is gonna help release some of the starch in the rice, which at the end gives this rice dish a beautiful light creamy texture. about 10 minutes after adding the broth into the pan. You can see a lot of that broth has incorporated into the rice. You can start seeing some of the rice grains. We're gonna lower this to a low-medium heat. And we're gonna simmer this for about 3 to 4 minutes on a low-medium heat. This is enough time for that rice to fully cook through and for there to still be a little bit of broth left. This is not a dry rice dish. This is what we call here in Spain, un arroz meloso. You want there to be a little bit of broth left. It's what gives this dish that beautiful light creamy texture. After simmering this for about 4 minutes on a low-medium heat, this rice dish should be ready to go. I'm gonna remove the pan from the heat. And check it out, our arroz campesino is done, a beautiful Spanish farmer's rice, so easy to make, incredible aromas coming out with all those herbs. Let's give this a try and see how it tastes. Seriously, look how beautiful this turned out. Here we go. That is so darn good. The combination of all those vegetables, the spices and herbs, and those garbanzo beans adds such an incredible texture. But the beauty of this dish is the rice. It's not a dry rice. We added a little extra broth in there, so it's kind of got like a creamy texture. You saw this, one of Spain's oldest and most historic rice dishes. Make it at home, very easy to make. Comes together in a little over 30 minutes. I think it does not get any better than this. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button. Leave me a comment below, and if you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button. Till the next time, hasta luego.